Hello, boys and girls. You are listening and watching Peter Talks Smackdown, your weekly source for WWE Smackdown reviews. My name is Peter. I'm one half of Peter and Jake from Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. And if you haven't listened to our Raw review, go back one video and listen to the audio of Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. We review Raw. Where was it? I don't even fucking remember where the fuck it was, honestly, because that wasn't that much of a memorable show, other than say the return of Brock Lesnar. So if you have the time and if you have the interest, go and check out that and check out our Raw review and Money in the Bank review. And we also had a discussion with Jake's father, the real Diamond Dan, who was an ex-wrestler. He was a Russian Assassin 2 and the real Diamond Dan, and he talks about his experience being around Dusty, and also the matches he's seen with Dusty, and how he felt about him. So if you want to check up on other people, how they feel about him, go check that out. And anything else? No. You can find me. I'm going to go and get these plugs out. I'll probably get them at the end as well. But hit that subscribe button below. And if you're listening on SoundCloud, subscribe to the SoundCloud page. Ella in Japanese, LinJapanese is my Twitter account. It is the SoundCloud account, and also Snapchat and Instagram. PJTW Central, that's my wrestling account. Go ahead and follow that if you feel like it. And PJTWCentral.com. That's where you can actually go and click either the YouTube page, the YouTube sign, Tumblr if you have a Tumblr account, if you have a Stitcher account, if you have a SoundCloud account, and also if you have an RSS. It also has an RSS feed. So if you have your own way of listening to your podcast and what have you, and you want to add this to your podcast listening device of choice, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, whatever, go ahead and right-click that sumbitch and paste it into your podcast vehicle of choice, and you will get weekly reviews of Raw and Smackdown, and a little bit of wrestling talk. And if there's anything else, we just go right into it. This week's Raw is from Buffalo, New York, and it starts off with Sheamus, who is now the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and he basically cuts his promo. He didn't do it on Raw, but he did it on this. He cuts his promo on winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, and it's basically one of those things where it's like, when I first came back, y'all told me I look stupid. Look at me now. Do I look stupid now with the briefcase? I'm going to be your next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Ambrose comes out, and I don't know what the fuck. He's in limbo right now after this feud. After the feud with Rollins, he's red hot. For some reason, WWE just didn't want to put the belt on him. Fans aren't happy. I guess his pursuit for the belt is done, but he comes out like, yo, I'm going to steal that briefcase and beat your ass. Kane comes out, it's like, nah, son, you ain't going to steal nothing. Ambrose insults Kane by saying, like, what are you out here? Shouldn't you be getting some, doing some dry cleaning or something for the Authority? Kane's pissed off. He sets a 2-on-1 match, the likes that he did with Randy Orton. He sets a 2-on-1 match, Kane versus Sheamus versus Ambrose. And when it first starts off, Ambrose, he holds his own, man. I mean, he's just a house of fire. Until the number game catches up, I think, is a point where he gets Sheamus down inside the ring. Kane is outside the ring. He tries to climb the top rope, and Kane like yanks his leg, he falls, busts his balls, and then they start just beating the living shit out of him. Reigns comes out for the save, but because it's a 2-on-1 match, Ambrose gets DQ'd, and Sheamus and Kane wins via DQ. And that's, Ambrose and Rollins stand in the ring, victorious, what have you. They stand tall. After the break, they walk to the back. You see them walking in the back, and Renee Young walks up to them, and Renee Young asks Roman Reigns how he feels about Bray Wyatt interfering in the Money in the Bank and their match coming up. And Reigns basically shoots on Wyatt. He's kind of concerned about the idea that he brought his family, his daughter, into the whole equation. And Ambrose has no comment. We get Brie Bella versus Paige. And this is... okay. It's hard for me to talk about the Divas now because right now the Divas division is really at ground zero. You got Brie Bella and you got Paige. Paige apparently is trying to gather up Divas to basically stop the reign of the Bellas, and no one's trying to agree and no one's getting their backs. As of now, Nikki Bella is going to hold on to this belt for the next 90 days, and maybe this is a jab at themselves for booking this kind of scenario, and Paige is the person who is a representation of this booking of Nikki Bella, to have to hold the belt maybe for another 90 days to beat AJ Lee's record of like 200 and some odd 90 days of holding the belt. So whatever happens between now and say when she finally drops the belt, this Divas division is null and void to me. Just null and void. And plus the wrestling isn't that spectacular. Again, Paige is a respectable wrestler. She's really good, but Brie isn't. And there's a part where, you know how they run the ropes and somebody lays down, and then there's another sequence when someone jumps over the other person. Well, there's a sequence where they try to run the ropes, and Paige lays down, and Brie misses the jump. She fucking busts her ass. And that's basically the extent of this match, really. Paige kicks out of a powerbomb off the top rope. It was a sequence where she gets on the rope, Brie gets up under her, and drops her with a powerbomb, and Paige kicks out. And that's another thing. Like, why is she kicking out of a powerbomb? Yeah, whatever. Alicia Fox comes out and basically distracts. Well, I think she gets involved somehow. I don't even remember, but it results with Brie getting the win. And as they go up the ramp, Nikki comes out. Holding up Brie's hand, and also, I guess Alicia Fox is given like a T-shirt, like Team Bella, and apparently there are alliance now, like this Survivor Series, Team Bella. There's going to be a Team Bella versus Team Paige, but nobody wants to be on the team. And everyone's talking about how they should bring up the NXT women, and I go like, no way, don't do that. Don't get any of those NXT divas in the way of Hurricane Brie and Bella, and Brie and Nikki, Hurricane Nikki at least, if they're going to go after the belt. You want, respectively, anybody on that division, just like the men, should just want the belt. Nobody should want to team up with anybody. Like, shit, like, what's going on? And it's going to be like a Survivor Series type of thing, where there's Team Bella and possibly Team Paige, of like maybe main roster divas are going to side with Paige against, and maybe some NXT girls with the Bellas, and just a bunch of heel divas. This is stupid. And they're trying to buy time until Nikki comes up off that belt. So we got 3 weeks of just some of the crappiest Divas booking, I think, to date. And if you want to get some women's action from the WWE product, do yourself a favor and just watch NXT and just disregard the Bellas. If you just want to see whatever shitty drama it is, go ahead. But if you really want to watch some good booking and good storytelling and good characters, just watch NXT Women's Division. I just finished watching NXT, honestly, right then, and I saw a match between Charlotte Flair and some other woman. I'm not sure who she was, but she's just starting out. It was such a great match. The athleticism and the fact they give them time, and these are credible wrestlers. No bullshit. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep my Divas or women's wrestling interest towards the NXT roster and hope and pray to God they don't come up within the next 3 months. You got Kevin Owens in the back with Renee Young, and she questions him about the situation on Monday of him basically laying Machine Gun Kelly to waste. And Owens addressed that by saying, hey, just to let you know, he touched me first, right? And you know what? It's his fault that he had to fucking bite the dust. By the way, such a bad sell. He should have stayed out there for longer, and rather than like just being scooped up and dragged out. I don't know. You can twist it and turn it spin it any way you want, but like that's one of the worst selling. And this is like a celebrity too. This is like a musical guest. This is one of the worst bookings for injury to a guest, a music guest I've ever seen in my fucking life. And he blames Cena. So if it wasn't for Cena, I wouldn't have had to do that type shit. He addresses the title. What is it? Yeah, he addresses the title match because he was supposed to actually face Dolph Ziggler for the NXT Open Challenge, and he reneged on it and was like, "Nah, this was never for a belt." But he addresses why he didn't, because there's no NXT title up or whatever. Whatever, dude. He's reading, and like it's just not coming out clear. I'm trying to take notes on this shit, and it absolutely makes no fucking sense. Okay, Owens is being booked to be like a badass, but like you can tell that they're booking him to be like kind of a nerd, so to speak. Well, anyway, Cesaro shows up, and he's like, whatever, dude, fight me. And they go, I mean, you look at a situation like this and go like, oh, this is pretty cool. Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. We haven't seen Cesaro since the injury of Tyson Kidd, and this is his first appearance since then. And you're putting him in the match with possibly the hottest heel on the roster right now, outside of Rollins and maybe The Miz. And you're thinking this is going to be like something really awesome, but once you really think about it, it isn't. And as soon as I see him walk up, I go like, ooh, that looks good for like a pay-per-view match down the line. And as he leaves, he puts his hands on Kevin Owens. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, I put my hands on you first, basically to sort of repeat the comment of Machine Gun Kelly putting his hands on Owens first. So, time for a fight. Next up, we get Ziggler versus Bo Dallas, and Bo shoots on Lana being on the rebound, and it's a pretty funny promo. And he's like, when it comes to Ziggler, swipe left, and you'll find the man of your dreams. All you have to do is Bo leave. The place, he's fun as fuck. He's funny as shit. Whatever. The match is going on. Rusev is backstage looking at the monitor. Ziggler, it's not really that long of a match, but Ziggler hits the zigzag for the pin. And then Lana comes in and they kiss, and then you see Rusev in the back kind of like throwing a fit because they kiss. You kissed him on the mouth. Just whatever, man. I'll say this, dude. Why is Rusev still on television? He doesn't need to be on television. I know they're trying to extend this feud between this love triangle and the feud between him and Rusev and Ziggler, but in all like realness, he should not be on TV. He should just be off TV until he's healed up, and then once he heals up, just wait to bring him back for like Survivor Series or something as a credible heel once again, and then he'll get his revenge on Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if that like would probably fuck up him being a heel, being that he returns. Knowing the WWE, they'll fuck up and make Ziggler and Lana into a heel couple, and then Rusev's come back as the crazy baby face, but the WWE, they never really know what the fuck they want to do, so I don't know. I wish he was just off TV. He looks pretty desperate and pretty lame. He can't perform, so why? When Reigns got hurt, they took his ass off TV. Why can't they take Rusev off TV? Maybe it's hard times for Rusev. Maybe he needs those fucking checks, but either or, it's just a bad idea to have him in them crutches. It's funny, but it's just not worth it to me. You have next Xavier Woods of the New Day versus Neville. And as, I don't know, it's not that great of a match. I think there's one moment where Xavier Woods is like just repeatedly stomps on Neville. How about this? Because the New Day don't have the belts anymore, they're almost irrelevant to a certain extent. They had a really good thing going as champions, as this sort of Freebird sort of three-man crew, and they had Kofi Kingston in the Money in the Bank. He should have won that to make everything interesting. But I'm sitting here watching this, and you know, once it almost becomes like a 3-on-1, where Kofi and Big E are approaching the ring, the primetime players come out, and then there's all this chaos. They're the new champs. Why do they have the belts? They shouldn't have the belts. While all this chaos ensues on the outside, you got Darren Young and fucking Big E and Kofi and Titus O'Neil going at it. Neville basically ends up winning with the red arrow after the primetime players stop the interference. I don't know where they're gonna go with this. It seems like everything's in limbo. They got a fucking pay-per-view coming up, Battleground, and they already got the Bray Wyatt versus Reigns. I think I'm not. Everything else is pretty much up in the air. I don't think there's. Oh yeah, Battleground. They got 2 matches set up. They got Brock Lesnar and Rollins, and they have Reigns, and they have Wyatt. Reigns versus Wyatt. I don't know if the primetime players are going to put the belts up in defense against the New Day or what. It looks like there's this alliance between the primetime players and Neville and the New Day, and maybe that looks like a 3-on-3 match for Battleground. If anything, I would much rather have a rematch, because they haven't imposed their rematch clause yet, I don't think. Just go ahead and put the primetime players back in there, because this title reign is going to be a bust, I'm telling you. Just put it back on the New Day and like just keep everything going. And move them to another feud. I mean, you still got the Usos, who haven't showed up since WrestleMania. You still have Rowan and Harper, who are back together. They haven't been on TV for the past. They went on this. They went on Raw. I mean, I don't know. You got Lucha Dragons that will make a good feud, but like for some reason, the primetime players to me are just not ready. Again, I see this as a push more for Titus O'Neil. They were pushing the whole like mega dad of the year kind of thing, but like go ahead and just get those belts off of them. I'm not a fan of the primetime players. I'm more of a fan of maybe seeing Titus O'Neil get a push. But if you're just gonna throw them all together in this clusterfuck with Neville, and Neville should be a star in his own right. Like this is just, it just doesn't look good. It spells bullshit. And this is the beginning of the second hour. Seth Rollins comes out and he talks about being scrutinized. He talks about confronting Brock on Monday, and that like he has to beat Brock to secure his legacy. And it seems like it looks like he's talking as if he's scared, but then he turns that shit into like an overconfident Seth Rollins, and he starts talking about Brock didn't do nothing to me on Monday because I'm dangerous, and like I can't wait to face Brock at Battleground, and I will beat his ass kind of shit. And that's that. How do I feel about Rollins? I'm indifferent about Rollins being the champ because it seems like they can't make up their mind on how they want to script him, as either like this badass or this chicken shit. He needs help. He could do it on his own. Now he has to face Brock Lesnar, and that's one of the things about Brock Lesnar. He's great, but almost like John Cena, he kind of takes the stakes out of things. He's too credible of a monster to face anybody. Now he's facing Seth Rollins, but like, come on. I have no belief that Seth has a chance. And I know this is wrestling, but like, let's just say man on man. You look at the scenario and you go like, this absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. There's no way to sell. They got a hell of a job to do over the next 3 weeks to make this anything close to a credible match. I mean, because if anybody is going to fucking watch this pay-per-view, to watch Rollins get his ass kicked, that's great. But I think for the most part, and the attitude that Rollins has, and anybody who actually want to tune in, you want to actually see some sort of a competitive thing going on between the two of them. But to me, there's nothing competitive about this. It's fucking Brock Lesnar. He will destroy anyone in his fucking path. Doesn't that sound about right? Doesn't that sound about right? What he done to Cena, what he did to Big Show when he demolished him with the chairs, what he did to Roman Reigns in WrestleMania. Even though Seth Rollins cashed in, it's still one of those things like, who else can match up with Brock? Kevin Owens? Cesaro? You look, maybe Cesaro. He's probably the only person, honestly, especially how his wrestling ability and his strength. Maybe Bray Wyatt, because he's such a bulky guy. But I just don't see anyone facing Brock Lesnar and me being like, oh, this is going to be a great match. And now we got Seth Rollins. And this is a Battleground pay-per-view. This ain't SummerSlam. If anything, the defense should be up at SummerSlam. So maybe this is going to be like a shit finish or what have you, and then we move on to SummerSlam for another match between the two of them. But why book this shit for now? Why does Brock have to return right now? I just feel like the story can play out a lot longer without Brock being around until SummerSlam. What, to boost up your fucking WWE Network subscriptions because Brock's back on Battleground? It just seems cheap. You got Reigns and Ambrose in the locker room, and as Ambrose is trying to like basically like pep talk, Reigns just looks like he's seen a ghost. He just looks really fucking distracted. And then Ambrose kind of snaps him out of it, and he's like, what's up, dude? He's like, hey man, we need to like do what we got to do and get home. I'm worried. I need to get home. I'm worried. And basically he's worried about Bray Wyatt and the fact that he this whole daughter thing. He don't like that shit. And I guess he's just worried for the safety of his family. And here's the match. Owens versus Cesaro. And I think this is booked for either the internet fan to be happy or the internet fan to be pissed off. Because you take the internet darling that is Kevin Owens, and then you take the other internet darling who's been, on the main roster darling for a while in Cesaro. And again, like I said earlier, this seems like something down the road that could be a credible pay-per-view match, network event that people would actually tune into to watch more than, say, any other match on any other pay-per-view card. I mean, this is somewhat of a dream match. Apparently these guys met on the indie scene, great, but it's never been seen on a WWE stage, and they're just gonna toss it on SmackDown, a taped edition of SmackDown. And you go, what the fuck are you thinking? So obviously Owens is getting a push. This is the first time we've seen Cesaro since the injury of Tyson Kidd. We don't know the what is it? We don't know what's up with the tag team between Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. So you put him back out there. This is kind of like his return, somewhat of a return. He goes out. They have one good match. I mean, it's a great match. Again, should have been on some sort of network exclusive or somewhere on a pay-per-view or something. And Cesaro basically does the job. Now you got fucking the internet like really soul searching on how they should feel about this. Okay, Kevin Owens got the win, but why are you putting Cesaro in a situation where he has to lose? It makes no sense. We all want to see Cesaro succeed. We all want to see him get the push. We want to see him against the likes in big matches against John Cena. We want to see him in the matches of the likes of Brock Lesnar, and so on and so forth. Put him in there with Bray Wyatt. Put him in there with Seth Rollins. We want to see this from Cesaro. The guy is charming. He has charisma. He has strength. And he has, over anything, this amazing wrestling ability to where he's just, whenever he gets in the ring, he just sends the crowd into a fucking frenzy. He just has that knack, especially his hot tags and like just this athletic ability. But he even takes a really scary bump. And I don't know whether that was something that was Owens' fault or what, but like he does the dive in the ring and he basically drives his neck. He goes head first, damn near into the barricade. And it just looked really scary. It's like, Cesaro, what the fuck are you doing? This is SmackDown. You don't want to be tossing your fucking body around like that without like a big payoff in the end, okay? You fucking idiot. Maybe the pressure of having a match against Owen was high, but like it was dumb. And he suffers to a fucking pop-up powerbomb for the loss. And which he should have kicked out of. Everyone kicks out of everyone's finishers so fucking often. Why can't fucking Cesaro at least kick out of one powerbomb? He's not like some smaller dude or something. He's a big guy. And with all the kickouts, he could have kicked out at least one, right? They could have actually had this end with like a roll up and the grabbing of the tights and have this fucking feud go into Battleground. But no, they just gotta nip it in the bud, move on. Where you go, Cesaro, we don't know. Kevin Owens, I guess he's still like in Cena mode. And who's gonna face Cena or somebody? Who knows? I just saw the match with him and Samoa Joe, which was damn good. But where Owens goes from here, we don't know. I guess we just wait for the update on Cena and see if that moves into Battleground on, say, SummerSlam. But until then, he's in a bit of a limbo. And they keep throwing people like Cesaro out there. It's going to fucking... His well's going to run dry really quickly because there's not many credible guys on the roster right now that would actually be... I mean, Ambrose? Whatever. Just throw Fandango out there, right? Throw R-Truth out there. Where the fuck is job as Adam Rose. Throw them out there against the likes of a Kevin Owen. Let them be the enhancement guys for him. Don't throw Cesaro out. You know what? I'm stopping. We get a Miz at the movie segment, and it's basically a vendetta. They got this movie called Vendetta. Big Show's in a jail, what have you. Next. Dusty Rhodes tribute. Again, last Friday was the death of Dusty Rhodes, and over the past week, they've been doing all of these, re-showing the tribute to Dusty Rhodes. I mean, I wonder how long they're going to go with these tributes. Maybe this week, maybe next week. I mean, you can go on for a while with these Dusty tributes. It's a really good video package. I'm not a fan of the music, but along with everyone else. But nevertheless, shout out to Dusty Rhodes. Rest in peace. Again, there's a really cool conversation with Jake's dad, the Real Diamond Dan, at Real Diamond Dan on Twitter, about how he feels. I mean, as a ex-wrestler from the 80s and working for Dusty Rhodes. It's a really good interview. Again, go back and listen to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling episode 43, and it's at the end of after all the review and stuff of both the Money in the Bank and the Raw review. The main event, we get Reigns, Ambrose versus Sheamus and Kane. And I guess that was set up because of what happened earlier in the evening with the 2-on-1 and then Reigns' interference. They go back to working the knee of Ambrose, and he basically refuses to sell that he has a busted-ass knee. Sheamus, I don't know. I've seen him do this before, but he's whipped it out like the past two showings, whether it's Raw or tonight on that night on SmackDown. But it's like this torture rack move he has, right? Where he has the dude's leg over his neck, like a torture rack, and it's the dumbest move ever. I see that move and I go, okay, I see it, but then I don't want to see this. This is so dumb, especially I remember the last time I saw it, I think it was on Raw, and he had it on somebody, and it was coming out of a break, and next thing you know, you just see this really awkward position. I don't know. It's just dumb. I hope I never fucking see that move again, okay? WWE, Sheamus, just leave that fucking move alone. It's like a weird fucking leg rack hold. Stop that shit. The match is, I guess, decent enough. Ambrose is in there for the most part. But right around the end, Ambrose catches a brogue kick. Sheamus catches a Superman punch. And then Bray Wyatt shows up on the Titantron. And he's basically I guess he just spooks out Reigns because he has that same fucking photo, the PSA photo, the Be a Dad photo of him and his daughter, and he's singing My Little Teapot. And then that distraction leads to him, I guess, after Superman punching Sheamus, he recovers, and Reigns is distracted. He turns around and catches a fucking brogue to the face, and he's pinned. Roman Reigns is pinned by Sheamus, and then afterwards, Bray Wyatt wishes Reigns a happy Father's Day, and then he's run, and then everything goes black, and then all of a sudden that photograph is in the ring with Roman Reigns, and he's freaking out, and that's how the show ends. I would say that it is a better show than Raw, but it's still a crappy show. It's shows like this that make doing this review very, very difficult. They got 3 weeks until Battleground, and they're trying to set up stuff, but they're trying to build drama with the Divas division and with Reigns and Wyatt and Miz and Big Show and Ryback, who weren't even on the show. Weren't even on the fucking show, and it's the Intercontinental Belt. Um, they're trying to build drama. Who the fuck? Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. They're trying to build drama between uh, primetime players and the New Day, and they're trying to build drama between fucking Rusev and Ziggler, and it's not looking good. It's really not looking good because once you really think about it, the people that we actually care for, the people that are actually getting like big put that have been pushed, the New Day, their heel positivity with the belts was gold, and people were really reacting to this. You take Ambrose and him as a babyface going after the belt. Everyone was fucking hot on him, right? You take the team of Rusev and Lana, and then that turning into shit. And they were such a credible force. Even though they lost to Cena, they still could have been still like just kicking ass and taking names, and that's turned into like a soap opera. You know, you look at Rollins and his relationship with the Authority crumbling, and then that turning into him and Triple H, and where's that going? It's just like, what? There's no. You got the Bellas, you got the title reign, them trying to break that streak. It's just going nowhere. Nothing is really leading to any kind of a payoff right now. Nothing. Nothing's leading to any kind of a worthwhile payoff. You give me one fucking feud that's going on right now, who's just started, that there's going to be this payoff, other than say what we're waiting for Cena and Owens. Where's the payoff in any of these title changes? Happy that either someone got their asses kicked or someone drops or gains the belt. Who changes? Who turns? We don't know. Nothing is anything. And maybe that's by design. Maybe that's their way of building the drama. But like this Monday, I don't see anything advancing either. This Monday. I don't see anything advancing next fucking Thursday. We're going to get 1 week away. We're going to get 2 weeks away. And maybe they'll throw something together, and a week away for the go home show, it's just everything's going to fall flat. And then we're going to be in this limbo ass battleground pay-per-view. Just waiting for something to happen. I'll be honest, I'm not excited at all for any of these matches for this pay-per-view. At all. A lot of momentum has just been cut. Going into SummerSlam, you're going to cut all the momentum. All the momentum. After having fucking 18 pay-per-views in 6 weeks. To just say, okay, crumble, let's start from scratch for a pay-per-view that means nothing with SummerSlam only fucking 7 weeks away. It makes no sense. I know I sound like I'm griping, but it's me as a consumer, as a wrestling fan, as someone who's trying to make this into something where I can talk and have fun talking about wrestling. But this isn't fun. None of this is fun. And I'm waiting for it to be fun. Oh great, Brock Lesnar's back, yay. For what? For this? I don't know. We'll only have to see going into Monday Night Raw. And I want to thank you so much. If you're listening on SoundCloud, thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube, thanks for watching and listening. Hit that subscription button below, and hit that subscription button below. Subscribe to the SoundCloud page, pjtwcentral.com. Go back to there if this is your first time, and check out other means to be able to listen to this. Ellen Japanese, LINJAPANESE, PJTW Central, those are the thingies. And it's Saturday. It's been hot here in North Carolina. We just got a nice little rain. We got the U.S. Open. No more basketball. No more hockey. It's going to be a rough couple of weeks until the football season begins. Because I'm damn sure not watching no WNBA. I would rather watch the Divas division on the main roster than watch some goddamn women's professional hoops. So yeah, Oh man, I just totally buried the WNBA. I'm sorry. But everyone have a good weekend. And yeah, share, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, do all these things. This helps us get more shit. Um, Gives us more confidence to move forward with the Peter and Jake Talks wrestling movement. And until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend.